welcome to Harrison Hacks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Harrison Hacks. Today I just want to take a look at a few things. With the SNES Classic Edition coming out, I'm curious to know if anyone has used this Mayflash Wii Classic controller adapter for the PC. It says it works on the PS3 as well, or Mac. That doesn't appeal to me. Mostly the PC and even the Raspberry Pi. I don't have a Pi yet, but I'd be curious to know how compatible it is. This is what it looks like here. It's the two ports, and it basically takes your NES Classic controllers or your Wii Classic controllers or the new SNES Classic controllers. Should work. I just want to know how it performs, any input lag or ghost presses or anything like that. I'm looking into getting this basically because here's the SNES Classic Edition SNES Classic Edition. Wow, I really stumbled on that one. Controller, and it uses the same port, so I was hoping that to connect these to the computer. Any third-party controller that I've used for Super Nintendo, they get close, but I always find the D-pad's a little off. The closest I've gotten is the 8BitDo, and they're fairly pricey. So, especially in Canada, I don't know what they are anywhere else, but in Canada they're fairly pricey. And for me to use this, I do use the Bluetooth, but what I also have the retro receiver, the NES Classic Edition retro receiver, which I hook up to my computer via USB. But I actually use this for my PS3 controller to PC. That way I don't have to install I think it's called Nefarious or DS3 or whatever it is that you got to install to get your PS3 controller. I didn't have to do that with this. It was a lot easier, and it works flawlessly. So this can connect to the NES Classic, hopefully the SNES Classic, so that I can use this along with my 8BitDo controller, play wirelessly. That would be great, especially for my 5-year-old son. So no wires is always better with little ones. I believe the reviews on the SNES Classic, people were saying that they're 5 feet cord length, which, you know, still kind of short. But like I said, if I had an adapter like this Mayflash adapter, the 5 feet wouldn't be bad because I usually play on my laptop anyways, and if I had a Pi, I'd have it out in my little man cave and I wouldn't need such a long cord. And then I'd also like to do comparison videos with the 8BitDo as well as the official SNES Classic and just get a feel for that. So the NES Classic controller is another one that I'd like to hook to my PC. Again, any USB Nintendo controllers, is there any that come close that you guys know of? Let me know. Basically what I've looked at is they have a USB version of the Cadet as well as an NES version. And I'm just curious if anyone's used the Cadet thoroughly, not just felt it and, you know, played 30 seconds and said, yeah, it's good. Someone who's used it over time, no matter what platform it's on, I'm sure they're all built the same, just with a different connector. Feel free to post in the comments. I'm very interested to find out how they perform. I also have the Edge joystick, so the NES Advantage knockoff by Emio. And when I was using it on my modded NES Classic Edition, and I played all of my 2-button arcade games, it performed really well. I mean, I tried it when I first tried it. I tried it with Pac-Man that was included on the NES Classic, and it wasn't performing that well. I did do review videos quite some time ago, and I did an update review video, and I would recommend it. I see them cheap all the time on Kijiji, and I'm thinking about picking another one up. But I mean, there is a Wii arcade stick out there, but they're pretty pricey. So to play, I mean, I can play WrestleFest, I can play obviously Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, anything 2-button is good enough for myself. And I would definitely, I might pick up another one of these if I were to get this adapter and it's actually worthwhile. Another thing that I used was, this is the NES controller to the NES Classic Edition. And this thing worked great. This is by Hyperkin. I paid 15 bucks Canadian at a buy and sell store. It was brand new when I bought it. And it worked perfectly. And I really like the original NES controllers. The NES Classic Edition controllers are very much spot on. I'm not going to complain about that. Nintendo builds things well. But even these, you can get these two USB as well. But I'd like to preserve my NES controllers, especially having two little guys. I don't want them wrecking my original NES controllers. So basically, I mean, the 8BitDo, I've done a review. It still holds up for me. It's a great controller. I use it through Bluetooth all the time. And again, I'm going to do comparison videos if I get my hands on an SNES Classic Edition. Hopefully Nintendo stays true to their word and they do produce a lot more than the NES Classic, but I'm not going to go into that because that's all over YouTube right now, and you know the spiel, right? So I'm not going to go into that. But this is my biggest thing. I want to know everyone's opinion on this Wii Classic controller adapter by Mayflash, and pros and cons of it. And then even the Cadet, this is the Hyperkin Premium Controller for NES Classic. I thought it was called the Cadet. I think it's called the Cadet for the NES version. So that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to kind of show you where I'm at and see where you guys are at as far as anyone that's tried the adapter or tried this controller fairly thoroughly. Would be great if you could give me a review. If you get your hands on an NES Classic, or you just want a cheap, you can get these on the cheap. I've seen them for 15 bucks or sometimes 10 bucks on Kijiji. Pick one of these up if this is any good. And definitely I would recommend the 8BitDo. Like I said, the retro receiver, this is the one that I have. There's a version for the Super Nintendo and also the NES. Definitely recommend this too. This is, like I said, I use my PlayStation 3 controller. This is how I connect it to my PC, and it doesn't take up my onboard Bluetooth. It's its own separate entity, which is really, really nice. And then of course the NES Classic controller, which to get an extra one is rare. The other controllers I have with this same plug is I have the Fight Pad, so that is like a GameCube controller. And that would be awesome for emulating GameCube with the adapter, would be great. And I also have a couple of the Wii Classic controllers and a Wii Classic Pro, which I'd also like to use on my PC for emulation. So again, guys, really appreciate you watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And also, I mean, leave some comments and give me your opinions on maybe some better USB versions. I know I've heard of the iBuffaloes, and they range anywhere between 25 and 30 bucks in Canada for the iBuffalo SNES controller. So that seems a little pricey to me. I should have bought them back when they were way cheaper. So any other versions maybe I'm missing, third-party controller or adapter, just give me a heads up in the comments. And again, guys, have a good day.